Welcome back to Good Day. There is so much here in the Toledo area, from history, attractions, things to do, places to go.
Yes, you hit on a big one though, Kaylee. History.
Oh, yeah.
Our own Tim Miller joins us, and this episode of Tim Takes You There is about the Sylvania Historical Village.
Yeah, we were really excited about this one. I had been reading about this village that some school kids go to on field trips and things like that. But then the more I read about it and called them up, they said, come on out, we have so much to see. And we had a great time there. This ended up being our longest Tim Takes You There ever.
Really?
Really?
We usually do 2 segments because we have a little bit of a break in between, a short break in between. This one was like an hour total.
Really?
Because there was so much to show.
So much. So
and you can just let it keep rolling on 11 Plus and keep watching.
Exactly. I was going to tell the folks, if you haven't downloaded our app yet, WTOL 11 Plus, it is free on your TV, and that's where you'll see all of these episodes of Tim Takes You There. You've taken us to a number of places, but okay, so a lot of ground to cover there.
Yeah, and we have some video I'd like to show too, just showing the village here. It's tucked away on Main Street, 5717 Main Street. So you're thinking all these new restaurants and things like that. Well, look at this village here.
It's just kind of like
It's
boom,
right
in
there.
the middle of
look
it.
at that.
And we have the log home, which is just beautiful. We had a chance to walk inside. You know, the mattress there was made out of straw. So when they say don't let the bed bugs bite, what is straw? Hey,
Tim,
you get it from the ground,
So that's
right?
where it comes
That's
from.
where it comes
That makes
from, yeah.
sense.
And they have the Stone Academy here, which is an old schoolhouse. When kids visit, they get to use these little chalkboards there. And this was the drinking fountain. Okay, the teacher would, in the morning, go to the creek or to the well, fill it up with water. The kids would pull that label up to their mouth, drink it, and put it back in the bucket. That was their drinking fountain.
Sanitary.
Yes.
Well, they survived,
Yeah.
didn't they?
They did. President Polk there up on the wall because he was president in the 1840s. That was a U.S. flag that only had about 26 stars at the time.
Wow.
Here's the train depot, guys. This is a really cool place.
Yeah.
This is where you went to pick up your mail.
Yeah.
You maybe had the telegraph, and they also had gossip. That's where you got your gossip.
Oh, like the water cooler, you know?
Exactly.
It's at the train depot.
Yes, the train depot, and near that was the train car barn. You saw that there's a locomotive from 1915 and a caboose from 1924. So if you love trains, it's a great place to go visit.
So how many of the buildings did you see all the
We
buildings?
went to
or was it
all of them,
fraction?
yeah. That's why we got up to an hour long on this piece,
a lot to
because
see.
there were so many different things. Even a luggage room where, you know, you would go to get on your train, and you would put your luggage there, and then they would label things. And I mean, it's really fascinating. Takes you back to the 1840s. That's where kind of that log home was. And then when you get to the trains, it's a little bit later, but it's a great place to visit. They're opening up next weekend.
For the season.
For the season. You can go there. You can make they ask for reservations, but if you call them, this is Heritage Sylvania actually runs the historical village. They'll work with you if you want to come out. If say you have a group that you want to come through, they will make accommodations for you. It's just a great place. I mean, it takes you a step back in time. I know as kids we went to places. I know I grew up in the Pittsburgh area. So much history back there, especially Revolutionary War. But this was how they lived back then, and it's really cool.
So are these, did they, you know, rebuild these, or were they original buildings, or how did they?
Right, good question. The train depot was original. It was there in Sylvania. That is where they said goodbye to their war heroes when they went off to the Civil War, Spanish-American War, and then they would go back and wait for word, check on the telegraph from the station master, see if there was anything new coming up. The school building itself, the Stone Academy, was built in 2001.
Okay.
But it's a replica, of a school from the 1840s, so it's really cool. Do you guys know, here's a question for you. What did they call teachers back in those days?
Ooh.
Oh.
I bet you've never heard this.
I have no idea.
No, I have no idea.
A marm. M-A-R-M. That's something that we learned while being there. They called teachers marms.
Marms.
So the marm would be responsible for everything. They had all grades usually in one building. Because this is a replica of what actually happened in Sylvania, how life was. We mentioned that the train depot was original there, but everything was in that same area. We showed a little bit of the Armstrong barn, which is the trade barn. You learned carpentry, you learned blacksmiths. If you needed a shovel to be made or something like that, they would make it there. Or a saw. They have a lot of saws that they showed us. And the different tools that you would use to maybe create wood shavings for brooms, things like that. And you can actually see blacksmith demonstrations from time to time there too.
That's
in the
cool.
process. I thought it was funny because you were like, the kids were writing on these little chalkboards. And Tim, you know, it wasn't that long ago. We did still have chalkboards.
Yes. There are still some
classroom.
chalkboards today in schools. I've noticed it.
But isn't that, you have, I was going to say, because I know my daughter would be like, what? Like,
What is that?
It's the
yeah, no
whiteboards.
electronic boards, nothing
Yeah.
like that. They made do with what they had. And getting back to that log home, you had like 5, 7, 8 family members in small quarters
Sure.
there.
Oof.
They did have an upstairs there, so I think in a lot of them, they did have upstairs, but like that downstairs room was where the parents' room was, and the kids would all be upstairs.
Yeah.
But during the day, I mean, it's like an open floor plan because
yeah.
you have
Yeah.
the fireplace, you have where you cooked and where you ate, and that little bedroom tucked away in the corner.
and everybody loved one another.
All right there. Now,
They did. Well, maybe. That was a tough life back then. So.
so this is on WTOL 11 Plus right now.
Yes.
Are you working on anything for the future you can hint at?
Yes, we are. Next week, we are going underground
Oh.
in downtown
Oh.
Toledo.
Oh.
Did you guys know that there are tunnels under Summit Street?
I've heard this, but I
Interesting.
have not
Yes.
seen them, so I'm really interested in that.
Yeah, and they're not like you go down there and you can't see anything. These are nice tunnels.
Yeah.
But it's a way to get out of the cold, out of the wind, out of the rain if you have business downtown. And it's a place where they used to have a lot of shops and things.
Yeah.
And they're trying to revive it.
You got to show me how to get to the
nice.
Imagination Station
Yes,
from the
that's-
parking garage.
That's probably the most popular connection area.
Okay,
there.
because
We have-
I've heard that it
yeah.
exists, but I'm like, I'm afraid to try it, and I don't want to
When
get
you hear
lost.
tunnels, it's like, ugh.
Yes, we ran into some families who were going to Imagination
Okay.
Station, and it was a cold day when we were
Yeah.
there, which was probably only like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That's true.
But they loved it. But they could park at the Vistula parking
Right.
garage and then walk underground. You can even cross under Summit Street
That's
nice.
crazy.
if you want to avoid traffic and things
Okay,
like that. So
all
that's
right.
coming up next
Ooh.
week.
We'll
We have
look
some more in the
forward to
works
that.
too.
I'm
We'll look forward to
excited.
that. All right, Tim.
Thanks,
cool.
Tim.
Thanks.
Thanks. Download WTOL 11 Plus.
Exactly.
Also on YouTube and WTOL.com.
YouTube.
There you
check it
go.
out
1,
if you
2,
want it that
3.
way.
Yeah.
All free, by the way.
I want it that way.